Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mario Hardy, and wanted to take a moment to explain the county's just launching the homeless prevention and stabilization voucher program. I did want to go over a little bit in detail about it, so I want to make sure everyone understands what's going on, what's taking place. The key word I want people to pay close attention to is homeless prevention and stabilization voucher program. This is not for people that are already homeless. I know it does say something in reference to the seven. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up real quick. It does say something in reference to uh, up to 7 nights in a motel if no other shelter is available. So that again, I would highly recommend everyone that read over it. Please read over this, understand it. I would highly recommend give that phone number a call if you have any questions in reference to what the program is about, just so you understand what is going on. Um, I want people to get a good understanding of what this is about. Technically this is a good move because we don't need any more families out in the street. This entire prevention program that they have launched is going to work out in so many different ways if it's properly used. I need for people to understand that, like when the actual county, city, nonprofits, whoever it is putting out things to help people, we have to take advantage of because right now the way things are going, things are about to get worse. And I say that because if those who have not been paying attention to all the different policies and programs that are being canceled at the federal level, those it's falling like dominoes, and it's going to actually impact our community. So I need for people to get a better understanding of what's coming. Uh, Individuals need to take a good understanding of their situation. If you're in a situation where you're borderline, you're like living from paycheck to paycheck, and all it takes is for you to miss one day of work, you really need to see what you can do to try to come up with a backup plan just in case something happens. Lately, we've been seeing like out this program. It would have been extremely helpful for about 5 families in the month of September. I know for 5 families that if this program was active, they would not have gotten evicted from their situation. Now we have to look at things, and this is what I think this is one of the things I stress about balance is we got to find a balance in our community. We really have to find a balance. And when I say balance is more so people have to start being honest with themselves about their circumstances and their situation. Whew, a lot to say. So we need to really take a good moment at what's right, what's wrong, what balance means, and how this is going to assist. Now, this is something similar to what Raleigh did last year. Raleigh took time out and they included $5 million into their budget to prevent homelessness. They're studying. I think I posted last year. I'll find that post and repost it. But Raleigh did a study that it's more cost effective to prevent people from becoming homeless than when they become homeless, because once they become homeless, it is extremely expensive. Now, in our circumstances here in our community, the problem that we have is we do not have an actual dedicated shelter for emergency/homelessness at this time. So this is helpful to a degree, but it's going to get a lot worse when it starts to get cold. So today is October 1st, and we really need to take a good look at all the resources we have in our community and see how we can apply this to do better for all families that are struggling. One more time for the record, 90% of the families I'm always going to, every time you hear me from this point on, you're going to hear me say it. Poverty has nothing to do with drugs. It has it for some cases, but it's not 90%. Someone who's running decided to put that information out as bad information, and I want to make it very clear that poverty is a combination of all the above. It's not just the drugs. Drugs is just a small portion of the poverty. Right now, in our community, just talk about Fayetteville, North Carolina, Cumberland County, in our community, it is the job, employment, and the shortage of affordable homes. So these are the problems that we're consistently running into in our community. It has nothing again to do with drugs. So with that being said, what we're dealing with now is this is good for preventing people, because the biggest thing that I've seen is when a person becomes evicted, when they get evicted, they actually have something on their records that's going to stop them or prevent them from being able to get back into a place. So this is a good solution, but it doesn't work for those that have already become homeless. This is only to prevent homelessness. So I highly recommend for those that qualify for this to prevent yourself from becoming homeless that you use this. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not go down and try to make your circumstances, your situation fit into this program. Read over it, understand it. If you have questions, call first. Because right now coordinating entry is taking on a lot of people because of this is the first of the month. Everyone knows first of the month is when funding is allocated and available to help and assist. We need to take a moment and understand what is coming. I can't say it anymore. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're pretty much screwed. We need to understand that there's only going to be a little help this winter for a lot of people. There's a lot of people right now that we're working on trying to come up with plans on what we could do to help those families that are already out in the streets. I know I've gotten a couple of phone calls this morning, talked to a couple of people in reference to some of the things. Like I know Miss McQueen, Tag 2, Miss Erica Bishop, all of them right now are working on plans to do things to do what they can to help these families that are out there. I know Miss McQueen, I know she posted yesterday, or I should say this morning, in reference to she's supporting 10 different families. So everyone's doing their part. So I'm just putting information out there. If even if you can't contribute $1, sharing the information on your social media platform would be extremely helpful. So just take a moment. I think I posted this earlier, and I put this out there. So we need to get the information out there to everyone, word of mouth, talk about it, have a conversation, get information out there. Also, it's important. I need for y'all to check on your families, your cousins, your second cousins, your third cousins. I need for y'all to check, especially for those that do have that have children. I know the situations, the circumstances that happened last night up to this morning. Situation, the family was not aware of the single mother situation. If they were aware, they would have stopped. Like what they did last night, they stopped what they were doing and they came to the aid of that mother and son. So I would say, if you know you got family out here, and I know there's a lot of people that seem like Fayetteville is got a lot of family base, their connection, first generation, third, second, third, fourth. We got like maybe 5 generations of families living here in Fayetteville. Check on your family. Check on the kids. Make sure they understand what's going on, what's taking place. I highly recommend if you're a struggling parent and you're struggling with what's going on, please take a moment to explain to your children. This child had a big misunderstanding on what was going on with their circumstances, and I would highly recommend that we need to start having these conversations with our children so the children understand that some of these things, I'm going to say 99% of the time, this has nothing to do with the children, but it's more so what we decide to do as adults, as parents. So we do need to have that conversation. We do need to sit down and talk to our children so they understand that whatever it is that's going on, it really hasn't anything to do with them directly. So please take that moment, have that conversation with the children. So let's go over this homeless prevention and stabilization voucher program. As you look through here, and I want people to get a good understanding. Of course, in the winter, what we do is we see a higher rate between the month of November to February up to March, technically up to March, we start to see a high increase of people getting evicted due to their high electric bill because of the heat that they have to have in their house, their homes. And some people, The heaters, like we have slumlords, the heat system's not properly working, and so it's working harder than it should be. So that means the electric bill goes up. And so when that electric bill goes up, that is where we start running into more and more problems. So we got to take time out to educate, push information. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't cost anyone anything to push information on social media. It doesn't cost you anything. It costs you some time, but that's about it. If you find information that is helpful for people to save energy or to do whatever it is to save a dollar, make a dollar, post the information, put the information out there, because right now we got to get ready for the winter. Today's October 1st. We got maybe at the most 30 days. I would say at least 30, 35 days before things start to get really bad. So it's important that we start to educate our community. We take time out, a moment, even for those that don't have access to social media. We need to have a conversation with some of these families out here, because this is a good program. I don't think the funding is going to last long, because a high demand is something that's extremely needed. And again, this is something that I want people to try not to fit your circumstances into this. If it doesn't fall within the categories, don't try to make it fit. For all my families, I know we have 20 plus families that are living out in motels. My biggest question I have about this prevention is how this can help and assist you. And I think that's one of the conversations I'm going to have with. I'm going to make some more phone calls this afternoon, or I should say, I think I'm going to go to a meeting. I think there is a meeting later on today, but I'm going to find out how this can help some of you that are living in the motels, because I know most of you that are living in motels is because of your eviction. You have an eviction on your record, or it's because of the type of felony that you have on your record, and it's preventing you from being able to move into a home or a place to stay, or apartment, trailer, whatever the case may be. So this doesn't really work out too well for those for families living out of motels. But I am going to push a lot of questions about this, because this only is to prevent homelessness. So at this point, if you're already in a motel, this probably is not going to work out too well for you. Um, but again, it doesn't hurt to ask questions, make a phone call. So here are the details. I think on the post itself, I did kind of lay out the information in reference to the different locations that coordinate entry is located at. I know the Day Resource Center, if you're not there at first, like I said, 9 o'clock in the morning, um, they get booked up extremely quick and fast. I think they're at the point now where I think they're taking 12 to 15 people per day. But again, make that phone call, or if you have to go, if you want to go because you got other things going on, please go down, check them out, and see what's going on taking place. Now, people, again, understand there's a difference. Coordinate Entry is a separate program from the Day Resource Center. Is Coordinate Entry is located at the Day Resource Center. Is located, like, they do have representatives available at the library, the main library, from 9 to 12, and then there is another location on the Merc, which is their headquarter location. So I posted information on the actual post, so you have that information so you can access it. To qualify, residents must have a low to moderate income threshold of 42,000 less per year. I'm glad to see this, because last year we had a lot of families that were able to meet the requirements of, they were not pretty much not in that low category. So it's like some people were like $2 short from that line, and they could not get the assistance because of how much they make. So I'm glad to see that number is a little bit higher. So I do want to take time out to look over this. If it applies to you, great. If it doesn't, share it with somebody else. Okay. Right now, the biggest thing is we need to keep everybody we can from becoming homeless. If you fall into a circumstance or a situation, or if you see it coming, try your best to head off. And then it doesn't hurt to go down to the Day Resource Center to get any additional training or assistance, because they're gaining more and more partnerships where they're able to assist people with budgeting classes, financial budgeting, financial aid. Not gonna say aid. I want to stay away from the word aid, but more so financial leadership, literacy. Thank you. I had it, got tongue twisted. Got literacy. So take a moment, go down, see what they have to offer, and see how it can help and assist. Utilities up to $500 in utility assistance. I think that's going to be a crucial for quite a few of you, because I know last year that was the biggest thing, was trying to find ways to help pay for electric bills. Up to 3 months of rent. Um, Again, I would say that needs to be defined a little bit more in detail, because I know how Raleigh is doing it, but I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be implemented here in Fayetteville. So I just wanted to highlight this. I want people to see this. If you have questions about it, like I said, there's quite a few self wishes posted. Lizzie, she's posted this information as of yesterday and today. I know COC is pushing this information through their channels. So it's good to have this information available. I ask that you please take a moment to share it. If you have questions, there is a phone number listed. Please give them a call so they can explain to you if you qualify, or if you can qualify for it. Call before you go if you can, and then that will save you some time getting down there. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I think one of the other things I want to talk about is community support. We do have a lot of people that are standing up a lot earlier than normal, because we know we don't have a shelter. So we have some nonprofits that are taking time out to get organized and get situated and get an early start before things start to get cold. I highly recommend, if you're in a position to where you have a job and you have the means to pay for rent, but you have a credit issue, to where I would highly recommend you look into how you can fix your credit or get certain things removed off your credit. Because I know right now there's a lot of families sleeping or living out of motels just because they have an eviction within the last 3 years on their record. That's something we really need to work on, because a lot of you can afford to pay rent. It's just that your credit is stopping you from being able to get into a place. And I think that is the big disconnect with all my families living out of motels, is that we got to find some ways to connect the dots to get y'all out of those motels. Because most of y'all are just working just to pay the motels. You have no income, no additional money, and all it takes is one day, 1 hour from work, and you're completely homeless. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions about this, like I said, please call that number. I'm going to get educated on this thing very quickly, because I just want to make sure that people understand. Because I know I knew about this program back in August. I knew it was coming, but I knew that they froze everything up until they got an actual policy in place, a program in place. So now to see that it's been released, it's just about to find out how is it going to work and who's it going to work for. But again, y'all enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As I get information, I'll push it out there. I know today is a lot going on with our country, which is going to affect our community. And all I ask is for people to look for solutions. We know the problems. It's now time to look for solutions. So if you come across something that you think will be helpful for someone in our community that's struggling, post it, share it, tag it, do everything else. But right now, we need to be finding solutions and pushing that information out to everyone in the community. As you come across something, push it out there. If you find something that's helpful, send it to me, tag me on it. I'll make sure I'll push it out there. But at this point in time, we really need to focus on solutions. The problems, yes, they're going to get worse. They're going to come at us left and right. But we need to look at what we can do to solve problems, to prevent things from happening in some cases, but to also help and assist with solving problems. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Oh, I know I didn't do a quick introduction. I know I did. I just jumped right into this because I know this last 24 hours has been extremely chaotic to a degree. But to see this information come up, I think is something worth pushing and making sure people understand what's going on. Y'all have a great afternoon. Be safe. If you found something that can be helpful, push it out on social media. Tag me in on it if you want to. You can inbox it to me. It doesn't matter. But we need to be pushing information out there to help families. And then again, it's October 1st. Winter is coming, and we really need to start working on a plan on what we're going to do this winter, because it's going to be different not having an actual shelter in place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a great day. Enjoy yourselves.